Alright, hello guys. We should hopefully be live. I was having some issues with Streamlabs, so I just want to make sure we're good before I start talking and all that. I think we are good to go, hopefully. Let me check my audio just to make sure that's good. I think we're good to go. So, today we're going to be talking about some Rings of Power. Rings of Power Episode 4. It makes me feel, not very good. You want to know why it doesn't make me feel very good? Well, you see, I was giving the first 3 episodes some credit. I thought that they were better than I expected. I walked into season 2 with pretty much no expectations whatsoever. And so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot, just see what's going on. I thought, there's some good things I liked from the first 3 episodes, definitely better than, the first season. There was definitely a lot of issues, right? There were still some of the same writing issues. There were some of the plot lines that were the weakest in season 1 were still the weakest in season 2. But for the most part, I was enjoying the show more in season 2 than I was season 1. And we get to episode 4. And, I didn't have any expectations going into episode 4. Episode 4, in my opinion, is season 1 level quality. It's pretty terrible, just in everything. If you haven't read the books, okay, maybe you won't have as much of an issue with this, but they Rings of Power quite literally took plot lines from Fellowship of the Ring that are in the first book, and they put it into Rings of Power. I cannot believe the audacity of and this is the problem. I tried to watch it without not considering the lore, but when you take things from Fellowship of the Ring and then you put them into this with these dog shit characters, excuse my language stream, it just bothers me. So for instance, the Stranger, aka Gandalf, is meeting Tom Bombadil. Of all the people that he could meet in all of Rune, this entire area, meets Tom Bombadil. Awfully convenient. Okay, well, we meet Tom Bombadil. What happens? Oh, basically the exact same thing that happens in the Fellowship of the Ring. Oh, Merry and Pippin get basically put into this tree, Old Man Willow, and they literally change the name to where it sounds just like Old Man Willow, but it's not. And then Tom Bombadil has to, get them out of the tree, and it's just like, okay, we're quite literally repeating plot lines from Fellowship of the Ring that just weren't in, the movies. It's like, okay, very original. And then it's basically the Stranger is becoming this pupil of Tom Bombadil. It's just like, okay, but then the whole time Tom Bombadil also just comes off as a moron. Tom Bombadil never comes off as a moron in the book. He comes off as kind of weird, but also a very wise and caring character. In this, he just is an idiot. He just straight up sounds like an idiot. Every line for the first, opening parts to Gandalf meeting Tom Bombadil is just I'm just going to not answer your question and answer you with another question. And it's just yeah, that was weird. Also, hi, Radical. How are you? Yeah, Tom Bombadil was here. Was not a big fan. Also, them mentioning the Shire is definitely set up for the end of the show with the Harfoots finding the Shire. Yeah, unfortunately, that seems like where we're going. I'm going to talk about the Harfoots as well, but we'll get there. What if the Stranger turns out to be a blue wizard or Saruman? Then that's bullshit. Radical, the fact that they've given us lines directly from Gandalf, if they just out of the blue just go, oh yeah, this is a blue wizard or Saruman, I'll just be like, well, you basically gave us every indication it's Gandalf. You basically made it say it's Gandalf, it's calling him the Stranger, and then just said, nah, he's somebody else. That'd be stupid. When I originally saw the character of the Stranger, I also thought, oh yeah, maybe this is a blue wizard or something, even though it's kind of debatable if they even ever came over in the Second Age. It's supposed to be the Third Age, especially someone like Gandalf, but whatever. But then when you get to the very end of season 1, he quite literally references lines from the Peter Jackson movie. Don't get that. Also, this episode did it so much worse than any other episode, I think, of this entire series, where we're constantly referencing the Peter Jackson films. We're constantly reusing plot lines from the book, or from Fellowship of the Ring. It's just so unoriginal. It's not enjoyable. There's nothing that I found was creative in this episode. And it also doesn't help you have the two weakest plots in my opinion in this episode. This episode takes mainly it has the Galadriel and the Harfoot plot. You do see a little bit of the Arendir plot line as well with Isildur, and I thought that was good at times, but then also was kind of questionable at other times. But we'll get there. So I want to go by each plotline as we go through this. So the stranger basically ends off being like this. He's going to get trained by Tom Bombadil, and it's just like, okay. And then also he references that Gandalf's job is to take down whoever this dark wizard is, and also Sauron. The guy could be Sauron. It's the one he looks exactly like. If it's not Sauron, I don't know what to say. I don't even care. The fact that we got no Sauron in this episode is mind-blowing to me. I think the show has 8 episodes per season. I'm not sure if that is the case. Let me double check, but I think it was, we're gonna get 8 episodes this season. Actually, I don't know. Actually, I think it's 8 episodes though. If it is true that that's only 8 episodes and one of them doesn't even have Sauron in it, when Sauron has so much he should be doing, is crazy. The fact that they gave us an episode without Sauron or the dwarf plot is insane, or the Numenor plot. The 3 most interesting plot lines for me in this season weren't even in this episode. It was the 2 plots that are just terrible. The stranger plot doesn't matter. Nobody cares about it. It has no connection to anything else going on right now. And if maybe in season 5, like, it'll have some sort of connection. Who knows? The Harfoots is even worse. The Harfoots get basically zucked up into this tornado. Somehow they don't die. Secondly, they have no injuries. And somehow they get up, they stumble around, and who do they meet? Somehow the first people they meet is another halfling group. Could you even consider the odds of that? Think about how long it took the Black Riders or the Nazgul to find like any type of halflings at all. There were Eastern halflings living right next to Mordor, and they didn't know that information. Like, it makes the world feel so small, because it's like, oh, the stranger runs into Tom Bombadil, and somebody that's basically an equivalent to him. Wow, how convenient. The halflings find other halflings. How convenient. Rune is supposed to be pretty big. Rune is a very large area, Radical. But yeah, it should kind of remind you of Tatooine, same kind of like atmosphere type situation. But yeah, so the stranger plot was stupid. The Harfoot plot was stupid. Whatever. It's like they get into this camp where the Harfoots are, and the Harfoots are like, yeah, we don't want you. You're getting basically imprisoned, and then you're gonna get released the next day or whatever. Okay, whatever. And then the lady, the lady of the top of it or whatever, she's basically like, oh, talking to him, and the Harfoots are talking, and they're like, oh yeah, the leader of our group is this guy, How convenient. Like, so many conveniences in this episode to make the plot go forward. And then the Rune guys come up, okay? So the Rune guys, they figure out, okay, the Harfoots probably have them because they're nearby, and they were probably spotted there. Also, that's another thing. The Rune guys on a horse spot the Harfoots, and they just, like, fall down a little hill. And apparently that is, like, they can't see them anymore. The guys that are in Rune tracking them are on horses. Whatever. Okay, so that's just stupid. So they rock up to the Harfoot place. Or not the Harfoot place. Whatever the other halfling place is. I just don't care to remember. They are the ladies like, yeah, no, we're not telling you nothing. They're not here. Whatever. Okay? If you're the Rune guys, why do you, like, if you think they're here, which they obviously do, why would you ever leave? None of these people are armed. They're halflings. They have probably no war experience at all. You're supposed to be hyped with these big, bad dudes, and you're just kind of like, nah, we'll just come back later. Like, What? By the time you come back, they could be gone. There's... Oh my God, it's just so dumb. It's so dumb. It makes literally no sense. All they've got to do is take one of these little, like, halflings captive or threaten to kill them like they were going to do with the stranger, which don't even start about that plot. And then, bam, the leader's probably going to reveal it, right? Or start torturing one of them, and oh, look, the two Harfoots appear. Also, the two Harfoots being literally right next to where the guy comes out, that was crazy. No, don't get me started, Radical. I don't think that's a good thing. Getting the Barrow Wights thing is not a good thing, in my opinion. That was dumb as well. So, okay. The Harfoot, the stranger plot, nobody cares about. It's boring. It doesn't further the plot at all. It has no connection to any of the other plot lines going on right now. It still hasn't. It's very much like Daenerys Season 2 of Game of Thrones, where it has no relevance to any other plot besides its own, and if that plot isn't interesting, then it doesn't matter. So that plot, just don't care about. Every time I see the Harfoots on screen, I basically want to have a snooze fest, and that was half of the episode. We then get basically the other half of the episode. There is some Arondir stuff, which we'll talk about, but we get the Elrond-Galadriel plotline, and Galadriel comes back to being very, very unlikable and annoying again. She's very angry and pissed off that Elrond is the leader of the company after begging him to come with her in the last episode, and she's all pissy and stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God, this character is so unlikable. I just like, they spent like 3 episodes where like she was still not that enjoyable, but she just freaks out. It's like, oh my God, you put somebody else in charge of me? How dare you? Like, that's so stupid. It's just, I just don't like Galadriel at all. And then they get to, they're sort of trying to go to Eregion, and they get to this bridge. And the bridge was broken by this lightning or whatever that Sauron seemed to have conjured when he was trying to show his magic or whatever to Celebrimbor. And so apparently there's only one bridge to get to Eregion. Okay, fine. Also, the fact that Sauron apparently has all this planned, he apparently planned on hitting the lightning strike from Eregion to break this bridge. Very convenient. But, yeah. Is my voice not good or something? I don't know, because I have I had to redo all my settings. So, on this anyway. I don't know if it sounds bad or whatnot. Let me know. Hold on, let me see what it sounds like so I can hear it myself. But hold on. Oh, Radical, you didn't tell me my voice sounded terrible. Hold on. Let's hit some filters real quick. Hold on, guys. So I'm going to try to fix this on the fly. I'm going to try to fix it on the fly. Does this fix it? I'm trying to figure out what it would be. I don't know if it's noise or whatever. Hold on. What would that even be? What if I do this? Okay, how about now? Okay, so for some stupid reason, Streamlabs was having it send my mic twice. That was really weird. I'm really sorry. Radical, next time tell me when my mic sounds bad, okay? But I'm sorry for people that join in or watch this later. My voice sounds terrible. Yeah. But, so, yeah. The Arondir plot were the scenes that I enjoyed personally. Yeah, it's the only thing I enjoyed of this entire episode. Galadriel giving the ring to Elrond. Yeah, that was stupid. Rings of Power is like Witcher, where they think they can do better than the creator. Agreed. Thank you, Ashley, for letting me know, by the way. We had a nice convo about... Yes, Matthew, this was not a good episode. Just not a good episode. So, again... Somehow Sauron has the power to destroy this bridge all the way in Eregion, but he is willing to just roll over for Adar. Makes zero sense. He then also was able to raise the Barrow-wights as well from Eregion. I don't know how the hell he did that. So more or less, Galadriel's getting these visions and shit, and she's like, hey, we gotta go the way, not the Barrow Down way. Okay? Okay. And Elrond's just like, nah, you silly bitch. We're gonna go to the Barrow Downs. You know, we're just gonna do it. It'll be fine. Okay? And it's just like, okay. It seems weird that Elrond would do that. Given the fact that, yes, I get it, that he doesn't want to rely on the ring, but the fact that the ring is quite literally telling them, hey, you shouldn't go here is kind of weird, but whatever. So then they go to the Barrow Downs, and I'm sitting here like, wait a minute. I know this isn't lore accurate, Rings of Power, but I hate to tell you guys this, but the Barrow Downs doesn't become a thing really until the Third Age, when the Witch King takes over Arnor, basically destroys Arnor. So they've messed up that whole timeline, and also they've taken something away from my favorite villain, the Witch King, so that's some bullshit, because the Witch King's not even a thing yet. Also, again, unexplained. Apparently this all happened off screen, that Sauron did this stuff. I guess, sure, why not? The Barrow Down sequence was just like, I don't care about any of these characters because none of this makes any sense. It's all apparently happened off screen. Whatever. So they get past this. One of the dudes dies. Like, oh, like I really care. He's been on screen for about 5 minutes. Okay. And then they end up getting closer to Eregion, but then they're cut off by the orc army. And they basically get seen. Galadriel decides to give her ring to Elrond. I couldn't for the life of me understand that decision. And then it's just like, oh, it's Galadriel just making this big, sacrifice for us. But then no, it's just because it's the ring. And all. It's like, oh God, dude. It's so bad. So at least Galadriel got captured. So there was something to it, right? Like, at least there was some consequence to it, but the whole sequence was bad. Also, hi, Maz. How are you? How are you? Hi, Matthew. How are my boys? How your Friday agrees. I still need to start season 2, and I need to watch more videos on this channel. I always appreciate your content. Thank you, Not Sure. And season 2, just haven't been a big fan. I mean, I was a bigger fan in the last 3 episodes. Like, I found some stuff that I enjoyed. This episode was just really bad. Playing devil's advocate, maybe they're having Sauron be a chump to play into his manipulation strategy. Yeah, I know they're having him play into it, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, what does Sauron being a chump do for the story, outside of making him a worse villain? Like, what has he gained by not just killing Adar and taking control of the orcs himself? He could still do the Anatar plot. None of that is affected. The orcs could be marching to Eregion. He can still play the same role and not look like a complete moron. And all of this stuff is happening off screen. I don't even know. Woke up with a migraine at 5 a.m. So it's not. Well, Ashley, I hope that gets better for you. I'm a bit tired as well. I had to help my mom with some things earlier this morning. But yeah. I hope when we get that Hunt for Gollum movie, it fixes things in terms of lore accuracy and timeline stuff. Yes, I agree. Yeah, Matthew, just a lot of stupid stuff. I just don't even know. It's BS that the creators of Rings of Power said season 2 would be more accurate to the lore. That's actually insane. That's insane. That's just not even close to true. I mean, you can do one Google search and realize the Barrow Down stuff doesn't make any sense if you're trying to follow the lore. Ashley, make the video. Sauron is basically eye candy now? Yeah. They got to cut back on the hobbits. It's driving me nuts. And dancing around these wizard names, just fucking say it's Gandalf. This is what it doesn't make any sense to me. It's such unnatural dialogue that nobody has named this dark wizard character for 3 episodes now. Nobody. Not the little rune assassination people. Not the, Eminem looking people, not them, not Tom Bombadil, not the other hobbits. I mean, like, it's just so stupid now. It's like, oh, they or the dark wizard. It's like, nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like that. No, Ashley, she definitely does not, especially Game of Thrones. She is not a big fan of Game of Thrones. I can tell you that right now. She is not someone that likes kind of sex and violence and all that kind of stuff. But my dad's the one that likes that kind of stuff. Agreed, Radical. Agreed. I did see that stuff from Ian McKellen about Gandalf, and he is the one true Gandalf. Agreed. Just call it the Shire. Like, you already don't care about taking plot lines. Oh, that's another thing. So the Barrow Downs plot line, right? Guess what they also took that from? The Fellowship of the Ring. It's literally the exact same thing. They're like, oh yeah, we have to go this way, and then they get sucked in, they start getting mind messed up, and then one of them dies, and it's like, I was half expecting them to be like, where you need Tom Bombadillo, and then to see him come skipping on screen all the way over from Rune, and I was gonna be like, makes perfect sense. Like, God, dude, it's just so dumb. It's just so dumb. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, Old Man Willow, they apparently just don't know how to say his name. They gave it to some other tree and call it the same name. Just shut up. Like, if you don't know how to make any ideas, then don't write anything for the characters. Don't even give us a Harfoot plot. Just give us the dwarf plot. Just give us the dwarf plot. That's it. Give us the dwarf plot, some Region plot, and Numenor. That's it. The rest of this stuff sucks. I was not a fan of Tom Bombadil. He just comes off as a moron to me. They introduced the character, and it's not like he's like a weird but smart guy. He just comes off as an idiot who's weird. Like, him and the stranger or Gandalf start talking, and the stranger or the Gandalf is just like asking him questions, and then Tom Bombadil is just like, here's another question for you instead. Like, it's just not. It's not interesting to me at all. So that leads us to the last plot line. So the last plot line was, I think, the one that had some redeeming qualities about it. The one thing I was a little like perplexed with the Arondir plot is, so, you know, it's him, Isildur's girlfriend. I forgot what her name is, to be honest. I do like their chemistry, by the way. I don't mind the two together. I think they have actually good chemistry between Isildur and the girl. But so, you know, they're traveling around, they're trying to find Theo, and Theo's been taken prisoner by basically the Ents, I guess. But whatever. And so they're kind of messing around. They figure out that the lady is actually, you know, has the like a Mordor symbol on her neck or whatever, and that kind of has some like conflict between the characters, which is actually good. It makes sense. And so they're messing around. They're going to look for Theo. And they get two of them. So, well, I guess it's Isildur gets in the mud or whatever, or the creature they fight. Oh, by the way, they do another nameless things drop from Fellowship of the Ring, the only place it's ever listed at. Once again, copying from Fellowship of the Ring. But, whatever. And so, Isildur gets kind of eaten in by this thing. And then Arondir gets eaten into this thing. And then, okay, the lady's like, I'm going to use a stick to try and help them get out of it when they're already like their whole bodies are underneath this thing. And it actually starts to work there for a second. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Like, how is that even possible that they're alive? Like, so that just was like, okay, one of those things where I'm like, it suspended my belief because I just don't see any possible way where they would have lived there. But whatever, I guess. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. It was just weird. But yeah, and then they have the end stuff, which I actually like the end stuff. It did feel very, you know, Lord of the Rings, you know, esque, I guess. And then they have the ending, and Theo goes on with his band of wild men, and it was kind of all for nothing, really. And then also the girl finds her boyfriend. Or betrothed. So that was an interesting way to end off the episode. I don't know where that plot's going yet, but that was a really weird way to end it off, in my opinion. But we'll see. The actress is very attractive, though, I will say. I agree. Tom Bombadil didn't even sing at all besides mumbling to himself. Yeah. I've hated Galadriel's characterization in the show, and it's a shame. The writing, direction, and even acting have been so puzzling, which is crazy because I've seen that actress do some awesome work. Yeah, it's just the direction's bad, the dialogue's bad, the acting's not very good. There's just nothing positive to say about Galadriel. And I thought they were doing better because they toned the character down a bit, and then they just went right back to 100 in this episode, and it was just really bad. Yeah, Radical. I found myself multiple times this episode just rolling my eyes. Very similar to like House of the Dragons, like episode 8. I just found myself rolling my eyes at multiple points in this episode. Theo will definitely become a Nazgul. I could see it. I swear, if Theo is the Witch King, oh, I'll be so pissed. I'll be so pissed off. You don't even understand how pissed off. I will come on here and scream for 15 minutes. I can't. I can't. For the record, I think the show largely is a crime against Tolkien. I agree. I try to watch the show putting that aside, but this one was just way more obvious. How are they able to breathe under all that quicksand? No idea. I have no idea. Yeah, the fact they ate this creature that they don't even know what it is kind of insane. Could have given them diseases, killed them. Could have been like poisonous. I don't even know. The betrothed will have a love triangle with his girl and Isildur, which is just like, I don't want that plot. I don't even know. I don't even know why we do it. It just feels like, oh yeah, we're trying to, I don't know. I don't even know. Trying to have like an Aragorn, Eowyn, and Arwen situation. I don't even know. Dude, there's no way. That's why I'm saying this Galadriel is not the Cate Blanchett, Galadriel. I'm also a little bit annoyed because the elves of Rings of Power do not have like an angelic vibe to them. Like they don't have that feeling to them, which is still kind of, more pissed than if Quentin is alive. Yes, much more pissed. They would make the Witch King the most badass villain who was apparently a sorcerer and things before he became a Nazgul into this little wimpy ass child that does nothing. That's fair, Radical. That's fair. Hi, Ruckus. Yeah, the Tom Bombadil was a joke. I agree. Oh, that's another thing. I even forgot to bring that up. So, yeah, apparently Poppy has this love thing for this dude. And it's just like, could you make these characters any more cringeworthy? The dialogue, the acting, the direction when they meet the other halfling, it's just like, dude, please put me out of my misery. Just shoot me now. I mean, this is just such cringe. It's just so cringy. It hurts me to watch some of the stuff that they put on screen. And it's always with the stupid halflings because I can imagine them writing these things down for the halflings. Like, oh my God, this is so funny. No, it's not. It's not. It's not enjoyable. Like, oh God, Rings of Power. Like this episode, I genuinely think was a 2 out of 10. I genuinely think it was a 2 out of 10. There was just so much bad in this episode. Like there was like maybe a couple scenes here and there that I was like, oh, that was fine, or that was like 1 or 2 scenes where I was like, maybe that was good. Everything else is just terrible. I mean, just genuinely terrible. Why are Harfoots in this series? No idea. I mean, I know why they're there. They're meant to represent Sam and Frodo and Gandalf, but they have no relevance to the story at all. No relevance at all. It's like if you, in Fellowship of the Ring, right? If you just had Merry and Pippin just off fucking around. Like they weren't connected to the Fellowship of the Ring. They were just, we have the Sam, Frodo, and the Fellowship plotline going on. And then after Rivendell, Merry and Pippin just decide to like travel to Rhûn for no apparent reason, really. They just do. That's that's basically the equivalent of what's happening in Rings of Power. Someone on Instagram told me that the show needs the hobbits because they're the heart of Tolkien's legendarium. Tell me you haven't read the first. Yeah, that's just not even. I mean, they're core to like the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, but they are not core to the history and legendarium of Tolkien's world at all. Not even close. Oh yeah, House of the Dragon season 2 is running laps around Rings of Power right now. It's not even like it had me a little like, episode 3, which I thought was pretty good. Not pretty. I'd say it was like a 7 out of 10. It was like 6 or 7 out of 10. Well, like it was like competing, but then episode 4 came and just completely broke it. Radical. That is the only reason. We're trying to figure out where the stranger's from and what's his origin story. That's it. That's the only reason we're in Rune right now. The only reason. So, yeah. I don't really know what else to say about this episode. There's not anything positive to talk about with the episode. I mean, I said the few things, like Isildur, his actors continues to be one of the better actors of the entire series. The Arendir stuff was interesting at times. Outside of that, the show's bad again. It's just gone all the way back down in season 1 again. 2 out of 10 for the episode. Probably, I didn't do a review for the first 3 episodes just because I just didn't feel passionate or motivated enough to do it. And that's kind of how I feel about this one. These streams are pretty much going to serve as my reviews. And unfortunately, like the first 10 minutes of this stream is going to be a little interesting because Streamlabs was sending my mic out twice. But I don't know. I don't even know. But yeah. I wanted the Khazad-dûm plot, the one that's interesting. I agree. Hit that like and sub, and thank you. We appreciate that. Also, I will be live for any of my football watchers that are in chat. I will be live for hopefully the Packers and Eagles game tonight. My second channel, it's my third channel. But my third channel, my football channel, I was going to go live for last night's game, but I forgot that you have to do like a verification thing, so it takes 24 hours for you to actually go live on that channel. So, yeah. Found out something interesting about House of the Dragon today. Apparently, Sapochnik or Condal, unclear which, said Sir Kristen Cole was little more than a thug and has said as much to Fabian Frankel in a meeting. There's no way. That has to be Ryan Condal because Sapochnik left. That has to be Ryan Condal. There's no way. I am a deep Tolkien nerd and thought Tom was the best part. So, yeah, fair enough. I mean, I think I'm not as much of a Tolkien nerd as much as I am a Song of Ice and Fire nerd. Like, Lord of the Rings, there are, like, gaps in my knowledge on the lore in terms of, like, Tolkien's world. Like, I'm just not as interested in, like, the first age. I'm a bit more interested in the second age, but, like, I know I have most of my knowledge more, like, around the main books in The Hobbit. Did you see Connor respond to George's post doubling down on the changes grease? So was that in his podcast? Is that what you're referring to? Also, yeah, I do know that Ryan Connell is working on Knights of the Seven Kingdom, which is not great. See, I agree he was a bit silly in the book, but I'd rather them lean into that instead of having like a half-baked version in the show that I just thought kind of came out as an idiot. Do you think Craster is the true king beyond the wall? Of course, Ruckus. Of course. But I'm going to end the stream there, guys, because I will be doing a stream for the football game tonight, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick stream for Rings of Power thoughts. Not looking forward to episode 5. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I will see you guys in the